Because the ball didn't go on the net.
Yeah. Why was that?
Because we didn't take the chances. I haven't seen any other team in the first 6 months that has generated what we have done against them in the last 2 games. And we're not capitalizing, but not today in the last few games. That's why we're not winning games. Performance-wise, merit-wise, there's no question who merits to win the game. Actually, the results did something very different. But when my team plays with that attitude, with that courage, with that design, does what they've done to probably the best team in Europe at the moment in terms of momentum, what can I do? Stick behind them and support them.
Gary from Sky Sports.
Yeah, a lot of supporters around the press box were shouting, sign a striker. Are they right?
Sorry?
Are they right to call for an
Who?
out goal scorer? The supporters.
The supporters, what I beg the supporters is that they are behind the team, that they've done. In difficult moments, stick with the ones that we have, that they are incredibly good. If not, they don't do what they've done again today. In Anfield and here, stick to them. This is exactly what they need, that we are fully behind them and then they feel important and supported because they deserve, with their attitude, they don't deserve anything different. That's my opinion.
Sam?
Mikel, how frustrating is it becoming to play well and week after week not take the chances and get the result? For you, it must be...
Yeah, it is. It is frustrating, but what can we do? I cannot tell them, listen, play bad, don't shoot, and Liverpool is going to score an own goal and we're going to win the game. I don't know to create a game plan like this. It's impossible. So stick to them. If we have 18, next time we have 35 and continuously do that. The ball will go in the net, we'll generate momentum and we will win a lot of games, that's for sure.
From one of their heroes, Trent Alexander-Arnold is with Kelly Thompson.
Trent, congratulations, you're into the next round. What a game. That feels like a big win for Liverpool.
Yeah, huge. Got a lot of players missing today. Lads on internationals, obviously. Verge missing from the squad as well, so, and a lot of injuries as well. So we came here with one objective, which is to win and get into the half in the next round, and we've done that. We dug deep, 2 late goals. We had chances, and I think we changed things around at half time internally, and we came out and played football, created our chances. And the changes that we did make and the change in system and where players were playing really made an impact for us.
What did the manager say at the break? Because as you've said, that tactical tweak and the whole way you applied yourselves in the second half made a real difference.
No, I think there was times in the first half we were a little bit naive. We got caught playing off on the back, and they've had their chances from our mistakes and our, maybe a sloppy pass here and there. They're a high pressing team and they're bound to do that. So we stuck with the way that we want to play. We have an identity. We want to play football and use players' strengths. And with the front line that we had, obviously Harvey wanted to get him on the ball, and then we got Darwin and Lucho as well with speed. So playing the balls in behind and giving them what they wanted as well. So we mixed it up. Darwin went a little bit wider, and Cody went in the centre. And I think that really made a difference. We were able to use Darwin's speed one-on-one with their full-back, and we created a lot for us in the second half.
2 goals, none for you, but your ball in created the opener. You couldn't have hit that much better, could you?
No. Them ones, I think, in Stringer, you just want to hit an area. You want to make it as difficult as possible, and that's the idea. That's your aim for is to make it as hard as possible for them to clear the ball, and knowing that a flick from one of our players, one of their players, could potentially go in, and we've hit the woodwork a couple of times as well in the game. So we had our chances, and near the end of the game we put them away and won the game.
Well done today, Trent.
Thank you very much.
Walked in and said to me that was good fun in the end. Is that how you feel?
No, I'm just super proud. It's a super difficult draw. Maybe most difficult we could have got. With all the things we had to have to consider coming here, it's just difficult. Then Mikel Arteta and Arsenal had an idea, lining up slightly different, which is smart and for us obviously not helpful. You could see that in the first half. We had problems with that. So, and then we thought, okay, then we change as well. At half time, we needed that. And the second half was obviously much better. It looked at properly. We were really in the game. It was an open game. And an open game, you can always win. And scoring these wonderful goals, bringing the kids on, and they did incredibly well. Individual performances, today was outstanding. From a specific moment on, we really fought the whole 95 minutes, but from a specific moment on, we played football as well. And yeah, it's cool. Now we have a winter break. That was the biggest bonus we ever played for, pretty much.
I imagine there are a few things as satisfying as a manager than when you make tweaks like you do at half-time and they pay off in the way that they did.
Yes, that's good. The good in a moment like this, so it was obviously that we changed, so everybody can see that sometimes we change little things and it doesn't work out, so that's our life. But it's fine. Today, the boys bought into, then we could make the changes, obviously, not too many to not get too young, but we still could do it. Curtis on 6, Maka 60 minutes was enough for the first game. And you had so many, obviously, first half, Ibu goes down, Jorel goes down, back spasm, whatever, and then you think, okay, centre half-wise, it's a bit short outside, so how could we sort that? But in the end, we came through, and how I said, I'm really happy and really proud that we could win this game, which was obviously, of course, Arsenal could have won it as well, and no shadow of a doubt. But that's normal for them that we kept the game open that long, and then in decisive moments finish it off. Speaks just for the character of the boys. They really wanted it, and so we got it.
You mentioned their outstanding performances. Looking at your 2 goals, firstly, that ball in from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Wow.
Yeah, but it's again an own goal, right? Mm-hmm. Like the free kick against Fulham. It was a wonderful goal, but it's an own goal in the end. But yeah, it's a great ball. So, but the game he played, by the way, unbelievable, and on all positions he played today. So that was really, really good. And you just see his class in his quality in each moment on the ball. It's really good. No, wonderful goal, and then we could have scored the second, obviously, slightly earlier with 1 or 2 counter-attacks where we missed the last pass. But then, in the end, we scored it, and that's fine. And it was the perfect moment because I thought, actually... I think pretty much everybody besides Arsenal in the end, because they wanted to go for the draw, obviously, but that was the result we desperately wanted to avoid. Because this second game, we cannot do these things, and we don't. Now I don't have to make any kind of decision, so that's good. And then it's 94 minutes he showed, and it's 93-40, and they have the ball, and I think, oh God, kick it long, and then somehow it slips and goes in, but then we did it the other way, and then it was all good.
You must also be pleased defensively. You were without Virgil van Dijk today. Ibrahima Konate was the player of the match. He didn't do too badly without his usual partner.
No, that's true. But the new partner did really well as well. So that was really good. Last line, Joe Gomez. Come on, this is really tough. No, so many good things happened today. It's just wonderful, and yeah, it's important. It's really important that you get that, and that you get these kind of different results. Playing outstanding, but don't score enough. Today, first half, I'm not sure. I think that the crossbar from Trent was probably the only shot on target. I'm not 100% sure, but this were not plenty. But then you're still in the game and you can step up in the second half. That's then the important information, obviously.
You wouldn't say it to me pre-match when I asked to assess where you are. I know you've got a game on Wednesday, but this must be another step in the right direction, more progress in another cup.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But what does that say? So for tonight, great. But then Wednesday, next game, then a few days off, and then is it Bournemouth, and then Fulham, and then Chelsea, and then bam, 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 and then the next round in FA Cup, probably Man City away or something like that. So, yeah, we have to make steps. So if you want to be there and where we are and around that area, you have to make steps pretty much every week, every day, every 3 days. And the boys did, and they all enjoyed it. So that's really important. It was not an easy game to enjoy in the first half. So they thought, come on, let's give it a try.
Just quickly, a word on Virgil van Dijk. Do you expect to have him back for midweek?
I didn't have contact yet with him today. So, but yes, he was not. I don't think he had temperature. He had a real cold, a real virus. So that's how it is. We hope that I think that game tonight helped him as well. Virtual. Get well soon.
I'm sure he enjoyed it. Thanks for your time, Jürgen.
Welcome.
Another game where you had plenty of chances but failed to win. Does it feel a bit of a case of déjà vu?
Well, the performance for sure was there. As you said, amount of chances, situations, and performance. Well, we deserve to win the game. There's no question about that. But actually, we lost it. So we are not capitalizing. And in football, in sport, you have to capitalize to win games. And at the moment, we are doing it. 18
shots, 5 on target. Is it just a case that the finishing isn't good enough? What's going wrong?
Absolutely. Well, when you are better than the best team in Europe, and you generate the amount of chances that I haven't seen a team again this season do it the way we've done it twice against them, but you don't win it's not enough. We have to play so much in 2 games against them. The reality is we score from a wide free kick. It's not enough.
How do you rectify that as manager? How do you make that
So
better?
we have to generate 58 shots then. What can you do? I cannot tell them, listen, play worse than Liverpool, be worse, shoot one on target, and we're going to win the game. No, we're going to have to generate more and help them more and give them confidence. And when my team plays with that attitude, that desire, what can I do? Just stick behind them 100%.
Conversely, at the other end of the pitch, of course, you then conceded the goals. For the opening goal, any frustrations at how you defended it or perhaps how your goalkeeper came back?
Yeah, I haven't seen anybody's an own goal, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you don't generate it and you score an own goal in your own box, difficult to win a match.
What have you said to them in the dressing room?
Exactly what I said to you.
You told me on Friday about needing to keep perspective. It's just 1 win in 6 now. How concerned are you?
We have to win.
How do you get back to winning ways, though?
Scoring and not conceding.
Is it just a case of working on the training pitch? You've got nearly 2 weeks now, of course, until your next game. I don't know if that's a good thing or a
Just because
bad
working
thing.
from home, I don't think it's going to work. So, yeah, we have to work on the pitch.
But is it a bad thing that you've got such a long pause now until your next Premier League
It's
game?
what it is, and we're going to have to maximize it, reset, and continue to play the same way if we can better and be more efficient. That's it.
Thanks, Miguel.
Thank you.
Shay, this was a brilliant cup tie. I mean, both sides went with strong lineups. There were bags of chances. On another day, it could have been 4-4.
Yeah, we'll look at the chances, I think, probably for Arsenal later on. But as you say, it's a brilliant game. The only thing we thought, we'd be sitting here watching a 0-0 and talking through so many chances on both sides. But again, we got 2 late goals from Liverpool. It was a brilliant tie.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Arsenal's finishing in a moment. But 2 of Liverpool's back 4 stood out for you, Dion.
Yeah, just sometimes when you're in a situation like this and you've got a few injuries, you need the seniors, the so-called seniors, to step up and take charge of a situation. Konate was outstanding, and Trent was even better. One doing one thing, one doing the other. Started off on a bit of the back foot, really, but when you need to make those tackles, Konate did it all day today. Arsenal should have really scored. They had lots of chances during the game, but again, Trent doing it at that time, just clearing it, doing the defensive duties on this occasion. But it's the way he receives the ball and the way he wants to get up the pitch, the positivity, showing a bit of pace and power there. And then he assesses the situation, and then he pays the pass for his teammate as well. Nothing came of this on that occasion. I'd like Gakpo to get in there, to be honest with you. But no hesitation again, gets himself into a shooting position. He's always positive. Strikes a great ball, as we know. And whenever he receives it within that middle third of the pitch, he's always got to look forward. And we know what his range of passing is like. And if he does get beat by somebody, then he's got his mate there who was on fire as well, Konate. And they did it all game. They really did. They were in charge. Konate's got no Van Dijk by the side of him as well, so he had to take charge of the back 4. And when you've got Trent putting the ball into areas like that, all it needs is a touch. Konate again on the front foot, at the side of the forward, nips in, gives it to Trent, who's got that range of passes, and gets him on the front foot again. And that's what it meant to him. You know, he took charge of that back 4, and he liked the responsibility today.
Yeah, and he had the inexperienced Kwanzaa next to him, right?
Yeah, I love that first clips actually at the start there when Konate's getting a massive block, then it's Trent Alexander, then there's bodies flying. It's a bit old school, but as a goalkeeper behind that, you love that, people putting their body on the line. And as Jurgen Klopp says, first half they weren't brilliant, so they had them players to step up and make some big blocks. And you say Konate today was first class.
Now, look, we heard from Mikel Arteta there. What happened to Arsenal? We've been here before. 18 shots, 5 on target, but nothing to show for it. Was it Groundhog Day for the Gunners?
It feels like Groundhog Day, talking about the Gunners sort of week in, week out. So many chances. I mean, I suppose Arteta will say you know, it's worse if we're not creating them. This bounces up nicely. We both think Dion's more of a striker than me, but we both think he should take that first time. And then when he gets to the byline, the angle's too tight for me to score there. If he rolls that back, it's a tap-in for Saka, 6 or 7 yards out, but he tries to score from a really tight angle. I mean, it's a good press again from Arsenal. This time, Havertz again, who had an indifferent day, should we say. Can he pull that back to Saka for another tap-in? He gets it to the edge of the box, but again, what a brilliant block by Canada. This is what I was saying in that last clip with Dion. It was just brilliant to see this, you know, out to the ball again. But again, you're looking from an Arsenal point of view, so many chances, and obviously the cameraman shot the Arteta scratching his head. You know, how many chances do they need to take? Again, can Havertz take that first time? I think the way to pass him, Odegaard tells him there's a message on that ball. Hit it first time. He takes a touch back into traffic, causes problems. This is a header as well. I think it's just Quansah puts him off enough, but at the same time, what's he, 3 yards out perhaps, Dion? I think he's got to hit the target, at least ask the question. And again, can Odegaard be a bit tidier with this pass, play it in front of him? It's behind him now, takes a bad touch left, another bad touch to his left, and it cuts down the angle, and Alisson makes an easy save. And then this was quite good, actually. Well worked free kick from Arsenal. Brilliant ball from Havertz, and I don't know why Gabriel is leaving that. I mean, Saka perhaps might have shouted to leave it. If you're 6 yards out, Dion Dublin's not leaving that. That's what I'm saying. You're going to head that in.
This says it all in the last 3 games. They've had 61 shots on goal, 1 goal to show for it. Expected goals, just over 6. If they're not careful, could it be a psychological problem now for them, Dion?
Yeah, maybe. They just haven't got that centre forward with a bit of devilment. You know, they need one. They need one that's going to just stay there, score goals, because the rest of the team will get them the chances.
Chances before that own goal. How concerned are you by that and that result?
I'm really disappointed, obviously, that we lost the game again. But we are not capitalizing for everything that we are doing in the game against probably the best informed team in Europe. The way we played, the amount of situations, chances that we generated, not winning the game again, not even losing, not winning it is very frustrating. But when my team plays with that attitude, with that desire, with that emotion, I need to stick behind them. There is no other thing that put your head up, face the situation, and try to improve. The thing that we have to do is to put the ball in the back of the net.
Since Christmas, 61 shots, 16 on target and just 1 goal, in fact none at home. How much is that a concern for you, the home form?
I just explained that, so it's what it is, and that has to be changed to win football matches after football matches.
I think what all Arsenal fans are clamouring for is the desire for you to go into the market and get a top-class striker. You are having to be careful with your finances because of financial fair play. How realistic is it that you could go in and bring back a natural goal scorer?
At the moment, it doesn't look realistic, you know, and what my job is and what we have to do is improve our plays and try to get with the players that we have better results. And a team that generates that much normally ends up in a really good way this season. So sometimes things happen for a reason that today we cannot understand them.
You talked about the telescope and the microscope and looking at the wider picture. Is it the perfect time to go in for a break now, or is it just disappointing when you're on such a high?
No, because 10 days ago we were in a really good moment, and now we lost 3 games in a row, and it's very disappointed. We need to reset. Probably comes in a good timing, because it's not that we are not playing well, it's the opposite, that we are performing, we are being better than the opponent. I think we were better than them today again, but the reality is that we lost the game. So something has to be reset and start against Palace again with a different mindset again.
Thank you, Mikel.
Was a big difference, but that's good, and better you play the second half better than the first, and then the other way around. So, yeah, away at Arsenal it's always difficult. We had to change, and the opponent changed as well, set the team differently up. We didn't find really, we couldn't really get hold of them. We didn't really, the pressing was not possible, timing was not great, all these kind of things. But in the end, in the box pretty much, we blocked a few fantastic balls. We were there, which is then helpful because there's a half time and you can use that. And I think we used it properly, changed a lot, and came out in a game looked completely different. So in the second half, we definitely deserved to win the game. Of course, it was open. First and foremost, that was the plan. We have to open up the game, and if the game is open, then you can win it, and that's what the boys did. We all know there were moments where Arsenal could have scored and stuff like this. That's completely normal. But we changed the way we wanted to change, bring the kids, the younger players as well. Not risking Maka, for example, and these kind of things. 60 minutes was the plan, 60 minutes what he got. So a lot of good things we could do, and the boys delivered. Come on, Connor Bradley against Martinelli on that side. That's not an easy job to do, and he did extremely well. Bobby came on, and it was just good. Yeah, of course, Ryan and Diogo especially, that helped as well. A lot of really good performances then in the second half, and a lot of passion, top mentality, and a big win.
No Mo, no problem. No Virgin, no problem. We've seen the in-depth squad and a very good leadership for Konate as well in the back.
Yes, that's his job. He's not 12 anymore, so he has to do that. I asked him yesterday, I stood with him and asked him, look at left and right, what would you say, who should lead that line? Me? Yeah, exactly. That would be a good idea. No, it's just joke. So he's absolutely a great player, but I would say it. Jarell Kwanzaa played an incredible game as well. Joey was outstanding because we were not great in high press and not great in midfield press. That means a lot of pressure on the last line. 2 10s in half spaces. Last line has to defend into midfield. So it means Kwanzaa has to step in, Ibu has to step in. That's uncomfortable. It's not cool. But because our timing was not great in the first half, we couldn't do it differently. Second half was all much better. And all of a sudden, we played football ourselves. So, yeah, just good.
One last question. You are on competing in all competitions. So far, how important is that for you and for the campaign?
No, it's not really important. It's the next football game we play. So everybody tells me, and we were obviously 2 years ago, so we were in all 4 competitions. That's usually not possible. And at one point, we will go out of a competition. That's how it is. But we play football games to win it. Tonight, we could have lost it, and what we wanted, great. Now we go to the next round. Let's see who we get.
Thank you.
Yes, I do.
Is it City their main challenges?
Ours, Liverpool's main challenges? Of course, Liverpool, if you finish above City, you're probably going to win the Premier League. I know they've had a little slump, and there's been problems at Manchester City defensively. They've missed Gundogan, they've missed obviously De Bruyne, who come back today. Doku's not really, he's been injured, and him and Grealish are fighting for positions. They've lost Mahrez, Haaland's out as well at the moment. He'll get that player back, and they always go on this run towards the end of the season. Last 10 or 15 games, City are like a machine. It's like they prepare for that last 15 games.
Yeah.
And if they've got a sniff of it, they ain't going away. They're not going to go away. And like I said before, Liverpool have got to handle that mental game that's coming their way, because Liverpool will be in and around it. They will be in and around it.
You're really unlucky to have City around. Because Liverpool are fantastic. The year 19, 20.
If it was a title race, who's the most entertaining, I think Liverpool are winning every season, because they bring you so much excitement every time.
Yeah, no, but without City is there, but imagine how many titles Liverpool would have won.
Oh.
Yeah, City are a fantastic team. Just to beat them, you need to be on your best on the regular basis to maintain the motivation, to scoring goals, to not to have too many injuries. That's incredible what Klopp is doing. Because there is only one winner. But it doesn't mean that the second they're fantastic. Liverpool.
But competition drives sport to levels, that we don't expect, and that's what we love about sport, isn't it? And you look at individual rivalries in the likes of tennis, F1. It's great the levels that they push each other to, golfers as well, and then you've got team sports, and Liverpool have contributed to the way City have performed over the last 4 seasons. They pushed and pushed and pushed. Yeah. The amount of goals, the amount of points they've amassed. I mean, we looked on average the other day. It was that you can only drop 24 points because of how good these two teams are. That's the only the average amount of points you can drop is 24 in a season. That's there's no room for error.
No, absolutely.
So these two are pushing themselves to individual brilliance. It's been brilliant.
Camurro last 15 minutes kind of nullified Martinelli in the last period of the game. So. Yeah, this will taste pretty sweet from Liverpool's point of view.
16 unbeaten domestically. It's 1 win in 7 now for Arsenal. It feels like it has the potential, as we said at the outset, for both these teams to be that kind of sliding doors watershed moment just as we head into the second half of the season. Look, an easy takeaway is a lot of people will say when you're kicking in shots and you're pointing the goal, the better team lost. Does a better team win that game 3-1? in terms of Arsenal?
No, because I thought Liverpool were a lot better in the second half. I thought he just got his midfield and front three wrong, and he rejigged it second half and they were better. I thought Arsenal first half were excellent. I thought when Martinelli came on, you know, he'd got the better of Alexander-Arnold a couple of times but couldn't find the final pass. He did a great job on the cover. But then after that, last sort of half an hour, it looked like they ran out of heart, ran out of ideas, ran out of real belief. Yeah, that's the feeling I got, Kenny, and that's not a great sign. Look,
it's understandable, though, isn't it?
There's a second half. There's a long way to go in the season, so there's no need to panic.
Yeah.
But there's definite concerns there for Arsenal now because they're not the powerhouse they once were. And what they needed was that early goal or that goal to give them that lift. I thought Rice disappeared.
Okay.
I thought Odegaard lost his discipline. If you see him for the goal, the free kick which led to the first goal, I just thought he was too emotional. Saka was quiet second half. And all the good play in the second half came from Liverpool. And there's one thing about Liverpool, they're probably the best counter-attacking team or one of the best counter-attacking teams in Europe. And when they do hit you on the break, they're devastating. And the difference in the two teams was the quality of finishers in the end. All right, they got a bit of luck with the first goal. I don't know where Ramsey was going, but you have to defend set players as well as Liverpool did today. Arsenal didn't.
Yeah.
Or sorry, Ramsdale for the goal. He's come out and he's in no man's land and Kivor's got the touch on. I didn't think Ramsdale needed to come. So again, there's these little indecisive moments that cost you. But ultimately, the finishing really let them down and not clinical enough and not convincing enough.
Is that, and I think you're absolutely right not to be overcritical of Mikel Arteta when on another day, I know we've said that ad nauseum now over the last number of games, that they're just not taking the chances, but maybe Jurgen Klopp was able to affect the game more from the sideline and the changes he made, despite being down resources with 2 or 3 key players missing, that with what he had, he was able to find a way in-game to change it, as he did in the second half.
Yeah, well, that's why I give the Liverpool team and Jurgen Klopp credit, because you looked at both of the benches before the game, you thought, oof, better options there for Arsenal. We spoke about it, Liverpool, we said, looking at that bench, the youth, how can he really kind of change things, particularly when McAllister had to be taken off. Hadn't got a natural replacement on the team, a kind of naturally defensive holding midfield player. Asked Jones to do that job, then tried to help him out with Alexander in there. So I think he was kind of searching in-match kind of Klopp. I don't think he was totally happy in terms of the balance of his team. But I think what he will be happy with and what he knows for certain 100%, this Liverpool team carries a real cutting edge high up the pitch. And if they do go on and win this league title, and it's possible, that'll be their biggest strength, the quality which they have high up the pitch. We can talk about the balance and kind of midfield. It's not quite there yet. Across the defensive line on occasions, although they were really solid today, I thought that centre-halves in particular, Quansah, I'd like to give a mention to. Thought he supplemented Konate really well today, someone so young. But it's higher up the pitch. It's the quality which they have. Salah's got to come back into that. Jota looks hungry coming back into the team. Nunez now is looking strong as well. Got the option of Gapco up there as well. Diaz, they can shuffle it around. They can shuffle the pack. Got some great options. Liverpool high up the pitch. That's their big asset going into the second half of the season.
Does that performance in the second half and how they finished out the game, as you said, absorb that pressure, took everything that Arsenal could deal with and then hit them with the counter-attack, found a way to win, used their resources? Does that just copper fasten the fact that their biggest challengers to Man City are they're top of the table by right, by merit?
They are for me, Conor. And I talked about it beforehand. They've got the manager. He's been over the course and distance with Guardiola over the years. All right, they didn't have a great season last year, but he knows how to win the title. He knows how to win the Champions League. Mikel doesn't. And for me, that's a big factor. He's got players who can turn the game and they've got a winning mentality. And this is right, Salah and Van Dijk today as well. You've got to factor in those two coming back in. I'm not saying Mikel can't win the league, because, you know, he possibly can, but this is a difficult era for him. And looking at them today, they just, for me, the mentality that both the teams, the longer the game went on and the longer Liverpool stayed in the game, you felt they've got a right good chance here. Well, you wouldn't say that about Arsenal.
And if there is an overreaction from certain sections of the Arsenal supporters, I mean, it was a mixed kind of reaction at the end. There was a few boos. There was certainly a disgruntled response to the full-time whistle. It's because it's in very recent history, like 4 or 5 games before the back end of the last Premier League season, where Arsenal thought, by right, they could be champions. Now they seem to have fallen in a relatively short space of time, despite trying to strengthen in the last window, far short of that. That would be a concern, because a lot of that, for me, comes back to the manager's door.
Well, ultimately, he's going to bear responsibility for that. I agree with you in terms of the murmurs after the game today. I don't think that was directed at the performance necessarily today, just in terms of what they've been seeing, particularly over the last 4 to 6 weeks, and kind of growing realisation that this kind of team is really kind of tensing up. You can see it. They're really kind of tensing up under the kind of the pressures on their shoulders. And it is interesting. It's not a simple answer there for me. Easy to point the finger at Arteta. I don't think he's handled every situation well this year. We can spoke with the goalkeeper situation we spoke about before. That was a big mistake for me, Kieran Tierney leaving the football club with the problems he has at left back at the moment. They look now for me as if they need help. He needs help. The players need help in terms of acquisitions coming into the football club, and that's easily said. 2 or 3 top-class players who can go straight into your first 11 isn't easy at this stage of the season, particularly when you have to get players out as well in relation to financial fair play. But I think that needs to happen. At the moment, hand on heart, and I tipped Arsenal to win the league at the start of the season. At the moment, without any acquisitions coming into the squad, I don't think they're going to do it. They need help.
And on the basis of what we saw today, and we've seen in previous weeks, but really highlighted today, really under the microscope, I know that Arteta talks about the broader view, but when you boil it down today, attempts on target, possession, all that kind of stuff, a striker wins you that game. A striker wins you FA Cups and titles, and that's a big, big oversight. However, that's been allowed to happen. It's not like Mikel Arteta's come in the last 12 months and doesn't have the resources. He's been there 4 years now. I know they don't grow on trees. There's strikers out there that would score 15 goals a campaign plus in that side with the chances they create, and they don't have one.
No, I agree. They spend a lot of money on Havertz. He's not a prolific goal scorer, and he's proved that today. It looks like he's...
He didn't look like a £65 million player.
No, he hasn't looked like a £65 million player all season.
And at other clubs.
And for a while. And he's got the ability... But then the more you see him playing like that, then you have to doubt it. You have to doubt it. He had great chances today. He was getting himself in the right areas, but he lacked the conviction of the finish. You know, Diaz's finish at the end, bump goal. That was missing today from Havertz, and it has been for quite a while. And he's not solely to blame, but they definitely they missed that clinical touch at a really important stage of the season now. Really important. Now, whether they can get somebody in or not, Conor, I don't know if that's going to be the answer. They spent 100 million on Rice. Did they need to spend 100 million on that type of player? I'm not sure. But, you know, they're on this run now where they're lacking belief, and people are lacking belief in them as well. I feel for Arteta today. I've been a little bit critical of him at times, but I thought he set the team out, motivated them. They were well set up. They should have got something more out of the game, but maybe that's just the way it's going for them at the minute. But on this evidence, they're not going to win the league.
Yeah, I think most people would agree. Maybe we'll hear from Mikel Arteta when we come back. We'll also take a deep dive into just how Liverpool knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup for the 7th time today at the Emirates. Back very shortly. In all competitions, keeping up their recent good record against the Gunners. It's now just 1 defeat in their last 12 games. Let's look back at the goals that settled it in that second half then. Kenny, you can take the first one. They had to wait until the 77th minute for the breakthrough, which came from a set piece.
Yeah, it did. Good quality delivery from Trent, as you would expect. Arsenal clearly got enough bodies in there. Key was the key man, the Arsenal kind of left back. At first, I thought, and I looked at, he's been bumped. You know, somebody he's been pushed. He's kind of off balance when he heads this into the net. But from the angles that we're seeing, it's not really. Have a look at him here. There's nobody really near him. I don't know whether he's actually anticipating a bit of contact from behind. He kind of has that bit of a turtleneck coil at the end of it, as if he's expecting a bit of impact from behind. He's just got to be stronger there. You know what I mean? He's got to dominate that area of the penalty box. That's his job, zonal mark, and he's got to be heading that ball outside the penalty box. That's pretty weak defending from my point of view.
Easy to say that we know all about the quality of Trent Alexander-Arnold from placed balls, and it's his delivery that it's fizzed in caused the consternation, but it's a soft goal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the way he's headed, it's almost headed at a 45 to 90-degree angle. It's going straight in. It's a great finish if you're a striker. My concern on that one is...
It's a 50p head one, isn't
it?
Yeah,
my concern on that is the goalkeeper as well. You know, he's comfort. He's nowhere near it. And he's never getting there. And maybe that's to do, I don't know, he made a great save, I think it was from Jota, low down, when it went through Gabriel's legs. He made a fantastic save. But, you know, I'd have to question him, but I'd also have to question the defence, something on it and head it back out the way it came.
Second goal then, wraps it up, and look, it's counter-attack, classic sucker punch.
Yeah, they're brilliant on the counter-attack. Lovely little feed by Nunez. Look at the bodies. This is the 94th minute. Look at the bodies they've got forward. What's a finish? That's what Arsenal lacked today. Totally decisive, total belief in what he wants to do. And this man Jota, I thought, had a huge impact on the second half. They looked a far better team when he came on. Martinelli's all over the place. But look at that, just one touch, bang, top corner. And that's the difference between the teams today. And, you know, Kenny touched on it as well. You got Salah, you got Gakpo, you've got those three that are on, Diaz, Nunez and Jota. You know, that's pretty potent.
Yeah.
And that is quality. And that's the one thing that was missing from Arsenal's play today, that clinical finishing.
Actually reminded me just watching it there, the game at Anfield a couple of weeks ago, the last minute with that breakaway from Liverpool up the pitch and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they all broke at high speed to the edge of the Arsenal penalty box then, and Trent Alexander-Arnold nearly scored a goal, rattled the crossbar. Very similar there in terms of speed of the attack, but that's what Liverpool can do to you.
As you say, when they get into that situation, you can read the player's mind. It's one touch, ball out of your feet, find the top corner, real linear vision. We're going to look at some of the Arsenal chances. It's almost the opposite, isn't it?
It is the opposite.
An extra touch, a poor touch.
Or an extra pass, not decisive enough, nowhere near clinical enough, and yet they put themselves in great positions today. And that's what will please Mikel, I think. You know, this is great defending from Joe Gomez. We're waiting to see where Alisson was going to come. Saka needs to swing his right foot at it. He's just got to hit. He's trying to get it back on his left foot. And, you know, good defenders like Gomez. This is the one, off the training ground, beautifully worked. Gabriel's just got to... I think Gabriel leaves that instead of just throwing himself at it.
Yeah.
And again, brilliantly worked off the training ground. Mikel's done his homework on the back line. Here's Martinelli coming on. Again, you know, just Saka too late arriving into the box. Martinelli again, I thought, you know, give him a bit of verve early on, gets past Alexander-Arnold. But I thought he was a man mountain today, Kanati. Absolutely brilliantly. And you know, I thought all the centre-halves played very, very well today for both teams. But that's great skill again, and there's that man Kanati blocking. Kenny, what do you think yourself? Do you think he should do an Oscar Bob there and put Odegaard in round the outside? I don't mind Saka coming in and having a shot there. You know, at least it's decisive rather than taking the extra pass. Odegaard looks to me like he's fighting himself at the minute. Yeah,
I thought he started well, drifted out of the game, Odegaard, you're right. Looking at Saka there in comparison to Phil Foden at the moment, at those positions coming into those areas of the pitch, he's putting the top and bottom corner at the moment. That's the level he's playing at. Saka's not quite there at the moment. He's really kind of struggling a little bit with his game. He kind of drifted out of the game as well. I thought Martinelli had some great moments there down that side of the pitch. But again, it's just that final pass, that little bit of conviction once they get into the key areas of the pitch, not quite there at the moment for Arsenal.
We're going to hear from Jurgen Klopp very shortly after we look at some of the Liverpool chances. Lions share them again in the second half to reflect their improvement in performance.
Yeah, but this is how they can hurt you. That kind of quick transition. Nunez in behind, that kind of pace. He doesn't pick the wrong option here. Diaz was mentioned by Gary Breen. Just needs to slow down a little bit, make the pass a little bit easier, win the initial contact here. There's Jota anticipating the ball, heads up, plays a little ball on the inside. Looks as if the opportunity's gone here. Diaz this is what Neil was talking about, swings his leg at it. That's a really good save from Ramsdale in the goal. And Jota, he's got no reason he should be winning that header, but we shouldn't forget he's got great spring. I know he's a small lad, but he jumps well and he's brave. He actually got head under the side of the head there, steadying his feet. He took the contact. He's really brave in those situations. Jota, he's going to be a key man for Liverpool in the running.
Review from Jurgen Klopp. The only thing he didn't mention was the tube strikes off in London. I think he covered everything else. We do believe we're going to hear from Mikel Arteta very shortly indeed, which I'm more than interested in. We mentioned the individual performances. Konate was a rock at the back. Alongside him, we were very impressed with Kwanzaa's performance over the course of the 90 minutes.
Yeah, Klopp referenced him there, was keen to mention him. Let me check him. I can understand why. Yeah, really impressed with his performance. He's only 20 years of age. And what I like about him, from what I've seen from this season, plays with real maturity for somebody so young. He's got a very complete game, very comfortable driving into these forward areas of the pitch. He loses it on this occasion. But everything he does, he keeps his game simple, very calm. Takes the easy option. It's interesting, he had the decision to make who played left side of the back two today. Konate, being the more experienced defender, would usually shift across, but no, this lad took responsibility. He's predominantly right-footed, but comfortable driving forward on his left-hand side. Again, looking to play the killer pass with the outside of his foot. A little bit of nonchalance, but there doesn't panic, gives it away, stays on his feet. Perfect interception again. Gets all of those tackles right. Decision making's really good. Seems to read things well. Have a look here. You can see Joe Gomez has got himself caught a little bit high up the pitch. Slots into left back position. Doesn't commit himself. Stays on his feet. Buys a little bit of time for those other Liverpool players to get around on the cover. Really mature display from him today. I was really impressed with him.
I do want to look at Kai Havertz, and you can both come on this. And look, he's been asked to fulfil a role today because needs must. I'm not sure he's the answer, is he, Neil?
Well, looking at him today, definitely not. It's difficult to say where Kay's best position is at times. He's just... He has that sort of languid sort of style about him that gives you the impression that he doesn't really care. Obviously, he does care, but I think he's going through a real bad phase in his career where he's, you know, lacking confidence. You know, these are great chances. This is one of the best. Look at this first touch. You know, for a player normally of that quality, you know, he'd be Diaz in it, out of his feet, bang, you know. And, you know, just as if he's got too much to think about. You know, he gets a bit of good fortune here with the deflection, and Saka should show more composure. That's what Arsenal have lacked today. But all around the pitch, he was getting himself into great positions, and his finishing let him down. That's been symptomatic of Arsenal over the last 4 or 5 games. But, you know, Mikel has to stay with it. You know, unless he can get another body in, he's just got to work it through. I didn't think the performance was bad. It was good for about 60, 70 minutes. But then when Liverpool started to impose themselves on Arsenal, the mentality crumbled a bit.
Does it fast-track the notion that if he has a meeting with the board on Monday or Tuesday of next week, it's like, look, we need a striker?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think he's always thought that way, Arteta. You speak about start of the season, you references there in terms of looking to strengthen that. I don't think he was looking to strengthen the centre forward. I think he felt Jesus and Nketiah as number 1 and 2, and I think he looked at Havertz and even Trossard as that false number 9 in terms of how they complement the wide Arsenal players, Martinelli and Saka. So I think he felt comfortable in terms of what he had in that central striking area. But that argument only stands up if you're getting the goals from those wide areas of the pitch, Martinelli, Saka and Odegaard. That's support cast, and that's where they've been lacking this season. That's why now people are looking at centre forward and saying, where's this free scoring centre forward that's going to come in and complement those other players? And for the first time, his thinking might have to change, and he might have to go into the market and find that centre forward.
I think that's fascinating, Neil. From a manager's point of view, it's an onerous task to stand up there and face those questions. What do you read into how he's reacted there? And he's
hurting.
He's a bit shook, isn't he, as well?
No,
in
I wouldn't
himself?
say he's shook. He's hurting, you know, and he's listen, deep down inside he's angry because they've created the chances, and that's all you can do as a coach, Conor. Get them into the positions where they can score goals. They did that on numerous occasions today. Even the short free kick, they worked beautifully to Havertz when he's thinked it, and Gabriel should have really threw himself at it. So I have a lot of sympathy for Mikel today in terms of his team, for long periods of the game with a better team, played, created more chances, but then they lose a bit of confidence and they lose a bit of belief once the goals stop coming in. And then Liverpool grew and grew, because Liverpool are a good team and they've got a good mentality. And he has to change the mentality over the next couple of weeks to get them going again.
But that's kind of where I was going to go with my next question is, I think he said 3 times in quick succession, what can I do? The fact is, unfortunately, the players are all on contracts. They don't get shown the door. Maybe they do in the transfer window, but you know where I'm going with this. The buck stops with him. He's got to find a way somehow, even though that's not his remit. He doesn't cross the whitewash, but he's got to affect what's happening on the pitch, because if you look at it 5, 6, 7 times in a row, you're out of all the cup competitions and you're 5th in the table at best. You're not going to challenge.
Yeah, and I think he accepts that responsibility. You've mentioned also about Edu, his responsibility now in terms of maybe bringing those 1 or 2 key players into the football club at the moment, the effect that can have on the dressing room in terms of maybe being a bit of a spark and kind of freshen the whole things up. There's not much you can do in these situations. Like I said, I think he's got to get into the heads of those individual players. We're all different as players. We're all different human beings. We respond to different things. A couple of them players might need an arm around the shoulder from Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff. Others might need a little bit of a shake-up, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Get them into the video analysis room, start looking at their games, individual mistakes. I don't think defensively, for me, they've been a little bit loose. A lot of talk about the chances they've been missing, but they can be conceding some soft goals. So rectify that. Get your defensive structure a little bit better. Those small little things, that's his job and the job of his coaching staff over the next few weeks, and slowly but surely turn this ship around.
Can I ask another question then in respect of managers with your experience, Neil? Let's say, in particular to Mikel Arteta, we can have a good understanding of the way he likes the game to be played, where he's done his kind of servitude as a manager coming through, how his philosophy is reflected in that Arsenal team. He's a methodical type of manager. You don't see him making drastic changes. At some point, do Arsenal kind of lack a plan B within games like that? Or have teams figured them out? Are they predictable? Are they nice to watch? Everybody's a nice technically.
On that performance today, Conor, because the difference was if Arsenal goal up, they're going probably win the game.
Yeah.
You know, and they did create the chances. They did open up Liverpool. They hit the crossbar early on. They pressed high. They were the dominant team, and lack of finishing cost them. And Mikel has a point. What can he do? He can't go and score the goals for them.
Yeah.
What he's doing is trying to get them in the right positions constantly. What he can work on is the mentality. You know, try to stay in the game, don't lose belief, blah, blah, blah. But when you're going through a run like this and you dominate the game for 2/3 of the game and then you concede an own goal, it sort of deflates you. Now, this is where he earns his money.
Yeah.
And it's all right saying, yeah, we need to bring more players in. Well, what about your recruitment in the summer then? That's got to be looked at. If you're saying the players aren't good enough now, that's on you, because you had plenty of money to spend in the summer, and we should be doing better than what we are at the minute.
It feels like a hard luck story for Arsenal. They've dominated the chat. That's because that narrative is ongoing and it was reflected in the course of the performance. The final word should and rightly belongs to Liverpool today. Excellent over the course of the 90 minutes. Much improved in that second half. And are you on the same page with Neil in terms of what they can do between now and the end of the season, that they're the legitimate contenders to Man City?
Yeah, at the moment, and like I said, I've had to maybe flip-flop a little bit on this because I went for Arsenal at the start of the season, but their season's fallen apart the last kind of 4 weeks. I'm not sure they can reverse that slide, Arsenal at the moment, for the reasons that we're saying. But Liverpool certainly are in a good place. It's not perfect. That wasn't a perfect performance of Liverpool today. They were very much second best in that first half, really struggled in that central midfield area of the pitch. You still got issues there going forward for me. But like I said, shouldn't concentrate on those maybe small negatives. Have a look at the positives in terms of the quality which they have. And sometimes it's not about individual quality, just a bit of an energy, a bit of momentum develops during the course of the season. Got a bit of a sense of that the Newcastle game last week. And again today wasn't perfect, but second half it got an awful lot better. And Liverpool finished that game really strongly today. So again, the mentality, those Arsenal players, oh, whoa, us, everything's kind of going against us. Loads of chances we should have scored. Liverpool is exactly the opposite. It's all positive. Everything's going our way. Do you know what? We don't even have to be at our best to win games of football. That's where they are at the moment. That kind of confidence has grown a little bit, you sense, amongst these Liverpool players. And it has to, because clearly Manchester City are the team to chase.
Absolutely, I wouldn't argue with any of that, and all of the above. Very interesting. Thanks so much for your company.
Bramall Lane. My name is Derek Ray. With me in the commentary position is the former Arsenal and England defender Lee Dixon. And very much looking forward to bringing you action from the Premier League. It's Sheffield United up against Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, thank you, Derek. Real pleasure to be.
He's in here. And with that, they've thwarted the opportunity. Well, it could be on for him here. And a goal to open the scoring. A very bright start to this one.
Well, here it is again. He does so well to slip past his man, left him stranded. And sometimes, with all the time in the world, you can fluff your lines. But he composes himself and slips it past the keeper beautifully.
The opening goal of the game then. Kane. Crisp tackling. Stevens. And the ball back with Spurs now. Kane. On the ball, Reguilón. Using all his defensive acumen to cut it out. Reguilón. Son. On the ball, Reguilón. Now, Son. Well, that is how to run at defenders. Credit to them for winning back possession. He's got the right idea with that pass. Can he put it away? It's in. They're looking really relaxed and confident and not giving the opposition much of a look in.
Well, here it is again. It's all about the pace in transition. They were so quick to get out from the back. And then through on goal, you never really had any doubt he was going to slot that away. Good finish.